Hello, and welcome to this introduction to the Kittitas Valley Math Circle. This is a program of Central Washington University that currently we hold with 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade students. And it's a program that we couldn't put together without your support. So thank you very much for agreeing to be a part of it. We're going to start off and talk about 5 different things today. We're going to start with what is a math circle. Then we're going to talk about what a typical topic block for our particular math circle looks like. From there, we'll talk about how we should work with students as their mentors. We'll talk about emergency procedures I'd like you to be aware of. And then we'll finalize today's webinar with a just quick discussion of my expectations of you as a mentor. So to get started, what is a math circle? You've agreed to take and participate in this program. What are you getting yourself into? Well, I've been involved in math circles for over 10 years, and the thing that I love about them is that they are combinations of several different aspects. First of all, we have mathematics, but we're also really focusing on problem solving while also taking and incorporating students many opportunities to take and share and learn about mathematical culture. I've stayed involved in math circles for this many years, mainly because I believe that they create such an important sense of community for so many of our students, and that's why I think they're so important. We do that by mainly having the freedom to not have to cover specific material within our math circle, where a lot of people that are trying to take and get from one point to another by the end of the year have to take and start and finish in very distinct topic blocks that they have to cover all of those topics to make sure if you can go from 4th grade to 5th grade. In our particular plan, we don't have specific content. It's more about the experience. So that lets us have something closer to this lesson plan B that you can see that just takes off in all sorts of different directions and is more about the exploration and the journey than it is about covering specific content. What we'll end up talking about and discussing a lot more with our students is problem-solving strategies. We care less about the answer at Math Circle and more about how did we get there? What was the process? How did we think about it? Oftentimes, the aspect of problem-solving we're going to use the most is to just get our hands dirty, to play with mathematics, to think through it and just do something, and then see what patterns we see as a result of that. You're the one that's going to facilitate that. You're the one that's going to take and help the students experience those aspects of the mathematics while they're in the program. And so what does that actually end up looking like? Math Circle sessions run for you as a mentor from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock on a Tuesday night. We ask that you arrive by 6 p.m. to check in with me, and we'll sort of do a schedule and plan for the day. At 6:10, we'll set up our different rooms. Around 6:20, students will start showing up. And from 6:30 to 7:30, we will run the actual Math Circle sessions. Around 7:30, the students will start being checked out by parents, guardians, and other adults. We'll then ask you to help us clean up the room. It should be a fairly brief process. And then in the last 20 minutes, we're going to check in with everyone that's attended for that day and just sort of see how it went. Make sure that you also have the chance to have this problem-solving discussion out loud about what you learned over the course of that particular day. In regards to the next level up, we will be meeting for 5 weeks. And over those 5 weeks, we will be specifically focusing all on the same topic. This is what it looked like in winter 2018 when we did math and art. And this is the sort of resource that you would be mailed ahead of time via email. This is something that you had access to. You could a whole entire presentation about talking about what we're going to do for the 5 weeks of Math Circle, as well as the supplies. And then if you clicked on those highlighted green links, you would see what the actual plan was. So we're looking specifically at week 1, the Spirograph art. The warm-up activity was going to be a worksheet like this. We tried to provide examples of what the worksheet solutions might look like. And this warm-up activity was finding art in Pascal's triangle. We are going to use this activity for the first little bit while students are signing in, just to keep them engaged in the math activity for the day, while we're waiting for the other students to arrive. Once a large majority of the students are at 6:30, we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to do the actual program. So this is the Spirograph sequence that we did for that week 1 of the winter session. And you'll see that you have a set of instructions. These were not the instructions that we gave to the students. These were instructions we sent out to the mentors. And this is the sort of things that you're going to adapt and read through those and see how are we going to take it, how are we going to use it with our students. And practicing this sort of thing is what we're going to do in that first week of Math Circle training when it's just us as mentors. We're going to practice these types of activities, think about the questions we might have with the students, think about different patterns we're seeing, and just making decisions as a group to think about, like, how are we going to take and help students get through this type of activity. I'm showing it to you really quickly, mainly not because I want you to have tried this activity, but because I want you to see the sort of support we're going to provide to you as a mentor. We aren't just sort of saying, do this activity, go. Instead, we're giving you questions, we're giving you examples, and we're working together as mathematicians to think about what is the math we're going to learn in this activity. So if this is a little bit fun, we can share this activity with you. But hopefully this gives you an idea. This would just be the first week of that topic. And that's the sort of resources. You'll see that we have 4 more weeks of similar resources put together, and 4 more weeks of more fun times to be had. Again, throughout those whole entire weeks, what we're mainly talking about is that hour. That said, the hour activity is the thing that's going to change. The rest of the pattern should stay fairly consistent from week to week. So it's just the activity that will change. So hopefully this gives you an idea of what a math circle is and what a typical math circle is going to feel like. Really, you need to live one before, and you'll have lots of questions, I'm sure, at about week 2 for us. So please ask us those questions during the debrief or the pre-session. But this should give you at least a little bit of idea of the sort of activities we might be doing. You'll see that they were very hands-on. We're asking questions of them. We aren't just giving them answers. And that's what is going to be a little bit different. When we're talking about mentors for math circles, there's a lot of things that we have expectations for in regards to working with students. We're looking to develop an effective relationship. We're training students how learning takes place. We're protecting and leveraging time. We're anticipating student behaviors. We're establishing standards of behaviors. These are all things that we understand you're going to need to learn how to do. And we want to provide you the support for that. So we're not asking you to do it right away. At the same time, the thing that we are asking you to do right away is to provide students some space to struggle. So we are looking to take and move away from just the answers, and we're moving towards problem-solving process. So watch out for giving hints too quickly, and practice saying, I don't know, let's figure it together. Because we really want to take and support these students in having productive struggle. If this is the first time you've heard of anything like that, that's okay. This is why we're going to do the training. This is why we're going to do the debrief. If this sounds completely foreign to you, again, it's all okay. But we want to introduce you to this idea right now before you come into the math circle, so you know what you're getting yourself into. Because what we're taking and doing in the math circle is we are going to be giving them a lot of problems. When you look at the homework that you do every single day, a lot of you are given exercises for your math homework. You're asked to take and use a concept over and over and over again. Just the same sort of way that if you were on a football team, maybe you're going to be asked to run laps over and over again. You're building up your strength. You're building up your muscles. You're using that repetition to build up some strength within yourself so that when we have the big showcase, when we have the Olympic championship, we have the strength to be able to do something different. And so problems are when we take and step outside of our exercise. We use that strength to take and do something that we haven't seen before. And so again, using a sports analogy, We haven't played this opposing team before, so it's going to be a new set of skills, but we're going to use all that strength that we've built up from exercising to be able to be successful in attempting this new problem. That's the goal. That said, it takes a lot to get there. A lot of us are used to doing exercises. We're used to mathematics being delivered in one direction. We want to support you in helping our students explore things together. So it might be a new process for you, but we're excited that you're going to take this journey with us to figure it out. Again, things that can help you in doing this is going back and looking at problem-solving strategies. Frances Su talks about the importance of humanizing mathematics using mathematical play. And that's exactly what we're trying to do with Math Circle. We're trying to humanize these problem-solving strategies. We're trying to use them in ways that make the students very engaged and feel participatory in the creation of mathematics. We want our students to leave feeling like a mathematician. So, part of the reason that I'm asking you to take and come early and late and stay late for Math Circle sessions is that developing these sorts of things is going to take some time. Some of the things that we've used over the years in working with students is sometimes we switch up the groups to make sure we don't end up with cliques. We ask students to take and we have to think about making rules about touching each other or focusing on behavior, staying positive. These are things that we are going to talk about in the training that you'll come to in a couple of weeks. These are things that we're going to talk about before and after the session. We want to make sure if something happens for you with your students, that you feel supported in how to take and do it. And we aren't always going to do it perfect, but we want to learn from, just like our students, we want them to learn and problem solve. We want to learn and problem solve how we're working with our students. That said, as we work with students, and it's in fluorescent yellow because I really want you to pay attention, I need to make it very clear that this is a program where we are working with children. These are not just small adults. And so it's important that we practice best practices when we are working with students. And the best practice is to make sure that you as an adult are never alone with one child. We practice in the Math Circle the buddy system, which means there is always one adult with two children, or at least two adults with one child. So again, one adult with at least two children, or at least two adults with one child. I say this because I trust you, but I never want to be put in a situation where anyone can question that trust. And the best way to do that is to always have witnesses, to always have multiple people in the room, and to always ensure that we have more than one person, and we never have one adult left alone with one child. And so I'm going to say that multiple times. We're going to hear it again when you come to the training. It's going to be really important. We support that by taking groups of students to the bathroom if necessary. We make sure if a student needs to go and get a drink of water, again, we send a group of students to do that. If you ask a room full of 30 second graders if anyone else needs to go to the bathroom, the mere suggestion of it will result in, I would say, 3 or 4 other students that do. So this is going to be policies that we'll practice. You'll work with other adults that are at the program to figure this stuff out. But the golden rule that you want to remember is that we always use the buddy system in Math Circle. Okay. So I've scared you a little bit about working with students by being so blunt about the working on the buddy system. What are some other things we want to start practicing and thinking about to just be aware of when we're talking about emergencies or processes of working with students, children? As we've thought about this in previous trainings, we've ended up thinking about 3 clear things. The first possibility is just what if. If you start to think about what could possibly happen if we had a room full of 50 second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth graders, I am guessing that you could come up with lists upon lists upon lists about things that could possibly go wrong. I have 10 years of experience working with Math Circles. Before that, I have more than 25 years of experience working Girl Scouts. And I've used all of this experience to take and really make sure that we are prepared for most of the what-if situations. And even if we aren't totally prepared, that we will know what to do to problem solve our way through anything else that might happen. Think of it as the MacGyver approach to math circles. If you aren't sure what that is, it's definitely worth Googling. So to get us started, room supplies. Each room has a bag of supplies that is labeled for that specific room. In that supply bag, there are several different things. First of all, in that front pocket, you'll see emergency supplies. There's two things that are included in there. This is the waivers for every single student that's participating in the program. We'll talk about those in just a second, as well as the evacuation procedure for the program. Those are both set up in the very front pocket. In the back pocket, there's a lot more math supplies. So we have graph and white paper, pencils with sharpeners, whiteboard pens, scissors, blue tape. I mean, so often I'm trying to take and think through these activities, and I try to think of every possible way that we can take that activity and go to a different level or think about other approaches. But sometimes you're going to have a different way you think about it. I've tried to give you the main supplies that you might need to be able to take it to the next step. So those will be included in your room. If you need anything else, please feel free to always talk to me or talk to one of the other faculty members. Next, we have a first aid kit. This is going to be something I'm first aid certified, and so if there is something that comes up, I'm going to go ahead and ask any incident to go through me. But to be aware of, we do have Band-Aids, we have cold compresses and wraps. And since we do have we have sixth graders, you need to be aware that we have feminine hygiene products. So all of those things are available in our first aid kit. The thing that I want to reinforce is that all of that should go through me, since I'm certified, because I also need to write up the incident to inform the students' guardians of the situation. You should never be getting medicine to students. You should not be dealing with this alone. This is going to be something that you want to come and approach me about. Okay. The other thing that's in those bags are the student waivers. So this is the permission forms that their guardians fill out to take and have them participate in the program. Those are really important because it has student emergency contact information as well as any student health concerns. The student health concerns should be highlighted as well as listed in the front of that packet. So this is going to be things like peanut allergies or seizure problems, anything like that. We try to inform all of the adults in the program, but should anything happen, that's going to be the first place you're going to go to just double check about the students. So we now know we have some emergency math supplies. We know that we have some emergency student supplies in regards to waivers as well as a first aid kit. What if that's not enough? What if there is a bigger emergency that happens? Here's the basic procedure we're going to go through. First, you're going to notify the faculty member in the room. Most likely that is going to be either myself, Dr. Brandy Wiegers, or it's going to be Dr. Clevey. You're going to let one of us know that there's a problem. Then as mentors, several of you are going to gather all the students into one group on the other side of the room if there's an incident in the specific room. And 2 undergraduates, 2 mentors should be assigned to engage all of the students and keep them occupied. Whatever you need to do, like do a human knot, do some quick games of tag, whatever you need to do to keep them occupied and focused on the other side of the room is what you're going to do to help out. The other mentors will then be assigned specific tasks by the faculty member. That might involve contacting campus police. That might involve searching specific bathrooms if we have a missing student, or finding specific student emergency waivers in the emergency folder. Those are all possible things you might be assigned to do. The faculty member will take over on the emergency incident and just be the leader. And for the most part, you just need to make sure that they know that this thing has happened and fulfill your particular assigned task. The other thing that you need to be aware of is we do have an evacuation plan. Should anything happen that we need to leave the classroom, you're going to proceed down the stairs next to the classroom to the obelisk statue. Again, the map to that statue is going to be in the front of the emergency waivers. The faculty member will gather those emergency waivers and the sign-in sheet to ensure we know who has attended the math circle. And then we are going to ask, as we're doing that, we're going to make sure that the students are buddied up and that we're going about this in an organized manner. An undergraduate should lead the group. Another one should follow behind to catch any struggling students. We really want to make sure that we stay calm, focused. We got this. It's going to just be like any other day. And then once we get out to the evacuation location, we'll double check in and we'll make a plan from there. And all of this, I'm going to remind you again, through all of these emergency procedures, we still want to make sure we're never alone with a student. We want to make sure there's always one adult and one child. For the most part, the main place this might happen is, again, bathroom procedures or at the end of a mass circle. But there's so many mentors at this point that this really shouldn't be a concern. But that, so far, in regards to the biggest emergencies that we've had, is just trying to make sure we always have enough adults in the situation to be able to take students to the restroom, what have you. So I think that for the most part, that should cover our emergency procedures. If you have any questions about this, let me know, and we will adjust this presentation around that. So we've talked about what a mass circle is. Hopefully you're getting an essence of what we're going to do during a typical mass circle. We've talked about a little bit of emergency procedures and how we're going to work with students. I want to end this presentation with some quick notes about what my expectations are for you as a mentor. You're new to this program, so there's going to be a lot of learning on the job, but these are the key things that just as professional expectations I have for you. So to get started, the first thing I want to note is that as a Mass Circle mentor, you've committed to all 6 weeks. That means I expect you to show up to the training and the program on time and stay there for the entire 2 hours. I've run into the biggest problem when we get closer to sort of big midterm times. You say, I'm so busy, I just can't come to Mass Circle. If you believe you're going to do that, then being a Mass Circle mentor is not a good fit for you. You are committing to this program for all 6 weeks, and I need you to attend all of the program. You can't just come when you have the extra time. That said, if you are ill, you should take and contact me. When you take the post-webinar quiz, you'll see my phone number. Go ahead and program that into your phone and contact me if you run into any problems with illness. We don't want you around 50, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth graders if you are ill. So we'll take that on a case-by-case basis. Corresponding to that professional expectations, you need to check your email. I will send any updates about the program as well as notes about the activity that we are doing to your email. If you choose to use not a central email, it's important that you let me know which email you prefer. Just have me send those updates to. Again, just update that with me personally. Next, I have an expectation that you model behavior when working with our young students. That means that we're looking for ways to make sure we're maintaining an aspect of a community of respect within our program. And that involves respecting both your colleagues, other students in the program, as well as yourself. So I really would like to see us avoid any discussion of things like, I've always been mad at math, or, oh, I suck, I can't do this. Instead, we're really looking to model behaviors of learning growth mindsets that, oh, I'm going to try hard and we'll see what happens. Really respect yourself and the mathematics and the students that we're working with, because we want to model that for these young minds. Next, a little bit of check-in in regards to you modeling behavior. I also need to make sure that you are wearing professional dress. What that means, when we've done this in past trainings, I think the best example that we have is if you would have gotten in trouble wearing it to high school, let's not wear it to Mass Circle. So I'm looking for no obvious holes in your clothing and no way that I can describe your underwear or lack thereof to you. So we're looking for clothing that is covering the important parts, as well as looking at the messages on that clothing. So there should be no swear words. Again, it should be messages of respect, and there should be no alcohol or intoxicant products being advertised. Which leads me to my last expectation, intoxicants. I expect that you will come to Mass Circle free of intoxicants. That means that you should not smell of nor have imbibed of any form of intoxicant prior to coming to Mass Circle. We are working with children, and my expectation of you as an adult is that you respect that role by making sure that you are free of intoxicants when you show up to Mass Circle. That means I should not smell any type of intoxicant, nor should you be under the influence of any intoxicant. Okay. So that covers the key things that we've usually needed to go over to get you introduced and oriented to Mass Circle. I'm sure you still have questions, which is what our initial day of training is going to be about, but this gives you an initial taste. With that, I thank you, because this program is only made possible when we have you as mentors participating and engaging in the program. You really make a huge difference to these young students and what they're able to take and explore and do. And I ask that you please not forget to take the post-webinar quiz and let me know if you have any questions, comments, or inspirational notes. So with that, thank you very much and have a wonderful time. I look forward to seeing you at Mass Circle.